Check out our new sponsors, The Games Cube. It's a great family-run local game store boasting Australia's biggest selection of MTG singles. Use the coupon code The Eternal Gathering to get 5% off store-wide. Check their site out in the link below.
G'day everyone, welcome to the Eternal Gathering here for a podcast. We're going to be talking about today's ban restricted announcement. So massive changes to pretty much every format in Magic that's going to be competitive anyways. And really, obviously we had some knowledge of what was going to be banned in Uro. They already told us that at the end of last week that there was going to be bannings for Historic, Pioneer, and Modern, and possibly Legacy for Uro, but did not expect to see the amounts of bans that we see today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through it, talk about what was banned, in which formats, and then talk about how those bans are going to impact the formats of specifically Pioneer and Modern, since I don't really play Historic or Legacy or Vintage. Actually, Vintage even got an unban today. So what we're going to do is, discuss those things. We'll start off with the Historic, Legacy, and Vintage. So Historic, Omnath, Locus of Creation is banned, and so is Uro. I think that was obviously something that we saw in Uro, and Omnath, another card that probably played well with Uro, but also plays well with some other cards in that format, I would believe. Legacy, Archiv's Astroblade was banned, Dreadhorde Arcanist is banned, Oko, Thief of Crowns is now banned in every single format, I believe. Lurrus of the Dream Den is unbanned, bar Commander. I mean, Oko is still available in Commander, but I'm talking about competitively. Lurrus of the Dream Den was unbanned in Vintage, since they banned it when there was the original Companion rules. Now that the rules were changed, where it costs 3 mana to put in your hand first. Now they've unbanned it. Arcus actually allowed 5-color decks to thrive, I think, in Legacy, from what I've been reading and hearing about. Oko is pretty self-explanatory, and Dreadhorde Arcanist just allowed some shenanigans as well, which they didn't want, obviously, WotC. There was also some rule changes, which we'll get to in a moment. So let's go to Pioneer. Pioneer had 5 bannings. There were 16 bannings / unbannings today. Pioneer getting quite a lot, and so did Modern. So let's look at what Pioneer has. So Balustrade Spy is banned. So this is basically a card as well as Undercity Informer, where they're trying to stop, well, Wizards is anyways, trying to stop this mill yourself win with Oracle. That's Oracle kind of deck that has been happening in the past with cards like Invader of Truth, but they wanted to really ban that kind of deck style, because it's very difficult to interact with cards that do that. They should just ban Thassa's Oracle, to be honest. So those 2 cards got the ban. Uro, we knew, was already getting the ban. Wilderness Reclamation got the ban. That's not surprising for Wilderness Reclamation to get the ban. It is one of the more dominant decks in the format, and it allows for a lot of things to happen with that extra mana. I can see why they banned that. And finally, I've been advocating for this for a while. I'm very happy that it has finally happened. It hasn't happened in Modern yet. We'll get to that in a sec. But Teferi Time Raveler has been banned in Pioneer. Everyone is pretty much happy with that, from what I've been reading. I think it's a great move. I think that it just led to gameplays that was just really repetitive, because you can't interact with your opponent once it's out. So I think it's very difficult to play a game of Magic and the way it's intended whilst Teferi is on the battlefield. So happy for that to be banned. That's going to affect a lot of decks, I believe. Wilderness Reclamation really was just that one deck. Uro, a few decks here and there, but it's something that you can easily change around. Undercity Informer and Balustrade buy that's really for one deck, but Teferi sees playing in quite a few decks, and obviously Control. They're going to be much weaker now with Teferi out of the format. And also, I think the deck that really will, I guess, be knocked down here is the Fires I mentioned decks. I think Teferi is critical, actually, for those decks. Being able to -3 draw a card to try and find those Fires, and also just to shut down the opponent from playing at instant speed, as well as removing creatures from the board or things that are problematic from the board, because it is quite a tempo deck in a way, the Fires deck. So Teferi, Time Reveler getting banned in Pioneer really is going to affect that, and it will also stop that possibility Storm combo that's been played in those decks. So Teferi, I think will definitely the ban will shake up the format. Obviously, Water's Reclamation will shake up the format. Uro, not so much. I mean, decks that were playing it can still play without the Uro. They don't need the Uro necessarily. And then obviously Undercity and Balastride being banned will also shake up the format. But I think the most significant ban would be the Teferi, seeing as it will be played, or it has been played in multiple decks, and it's a key piece, I believe, in those decks. So, yeah, I think Fire's Invention is going to be a deck that is going to struggle to find a replacement for Teferi. Playing Fires myself, I'm struggling to think of cards to, I guess, supplement that deck now with Teferi out. I think Teferi did a lot of work for that deck. Also for Control, now needing a bit more of the counter spells being available as well. Having to play a bit more of the counter spells, I think, is necessary. Now we're going to go to Modern, where there was, again, another 5 cards banned. One of them being Uro, which is seeing quite a lot of play in Modern as a creature. Then we've got Filtered Dead, which obviously stops control decks really from thriving in the Modern format because of the ability to make 2/2 creatures and being difficult to interact with itself. Mystic Sanctuary got banned as well. It is a card that can kind of soft lock in a way other decks by being able to get the cryptic commands. So we go back to Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, as I said, being banned there in Modern because of its ability just to get those spells back, especially cryptic commands. Simius Spirit Guide. Now this is actually really interesting ban, and I think the most influential ban that is going to happen for Modern. Simius Spirit Guide allows you to get free mana by exiling it from your hand, adding once you're in mana form. It is played in a lot of decks. Some of them fringe. Yes, there was like all sorts of spells kind of decks and stuff like that, and Tilot's Trickery, which we're going to get to in a sec as well, that we're playing it. But yeah, I think it's going to hit on a lot of decks. You're going to get rid of basically your Gristlebrand decks, they're dead, I believe. Simian Spirit Guide was obviously the way that you're able to get the mana to combo off. Also Spells decks, they're pretty much dead. There's a few other decks like Blood Prison that's going to be a turn slow, or also Spells, I guess it's going to be a turn slower as well, if you think about it. But yeah, these decks pretty much won't be seeing anywhere near the amount of play that they were, or they should be actually seeing any play really, because they're going much slower. I mean, Blood Prison you can still play with. You don't have to get that turn 1 Blood Moon. You can still get a turn 2 Blood Moon. Myself, I play Blood Prison. I think just taking out the Sinister Spirit Guys and playing just Rituals instead will still be okay. But yeah, definitely takes a whole turn off quicker than you normally would. But it allowed for a lot of combos, potential for combos, and that's the whole reason why it's been banned. It's been in the modern format for quite a while, but it's finally got the ban now. Did not see that that coming, to be honest, but I can see why they've banned it. And then Tibolt's Trickery, which is basically a really new card, just coming out in the last set, but also a lot of combo potential for Cascade. Being able to play this with your Cascade, and then playing a card for free with Tibolt's Trickery, comboing off usually on turn 1, 2, if you had a Simian Spirit Guides in your hand to be able to do that. So that is the ban announcement. But there was also a rules change. So the rules change, and we'll go through it. It's for Cascade, and basically it's due to the fact that we've got this new Valkyrie slash Tibolt card that was obviously made, which is MDFC card. As we go through modern here, and I'll bring it up if we can. Maybe I won't. Let's just go here. Valkyrie. God of Lies. So yeah, this one here. If you are not sure of what I'm talking about, you could cascade into this with a 3 mana or more cascade spell, and then because it sees Valkyrie first, because Valkyrie is a front face, it allows you to play that card or cast that card. But because that card is actually 2 cards, you can choose which side to cast. So you can choose to cast the Valkyrie side or the Tibolt side, and obviously you will get the Tibolt side, which is 7 mana, much earlier than the turn 7 or turn 6. You can get it easily on a turn 2 or turn 3, which was it's not what they intended, I guess, when they made these MDFC cards. So they've changed the rules to basically read, there it is there, you can read it yourself, but basically what it is now when you cascade into something, you can only play a spell that is CMC less than the cascade spell that you just cast. So that is what the rule change was. So that was the rule changes, basically because of Valkyrie, but they also, I guess, preemptively going to do this change to Cascade because they're going to have more MDFCs down the line. Obviously, we know in the next set, Strixhaven, there's going to be MDFCs. Probably there's going to would have been some shenanigans when those cards came out, or any future cards that came out. So changing the rules, I think, it was the right move because intuitively that's how you would think that the card you're going to cast with Cascade would be the front card, but rules wise it wasn't the case. So this change kind of changes that, clears that up. So now you can only play something that's CMC less than. So if Valkyrie was 2 mana and let's say Tibolt was a 3 mana on the backside, and you played Bloodbraid Elf, you'd be able to play the Tibolt if it was a 3 mana spell. But if the fact that it's a 7 mana spell now means you cannot. You can only play the one that's less than Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf is a 4 mana spell, so you're gonna play 3 or less mana spell from its Cascade ability. So those are the changes, and let's see what that does. Let's have a look at we'll go to modern metagame. Omnath, obviously Omnath being gone, that will take a bit of a hit. I think it probably will take enough of a hit that this deck wouldn't really be that feasible, as well with the Field of the Dead getting banned. It pretty much is knocking this deck off. Werebogs, this is the oops or spell kind of deck, and also like I think they're playing Tibolt's Trickery in this, but basically this is now pretty much, yeah, this is a Valkyrie, this is the Cascade kind of thing, pretty much redundant now. No Simian Spirit Guides, and the rule changes to Cascade, so that deck is gone. Blitz still there, Hammer Time still there, Burn still there, Spirit's there, Reckless Death Shadow still there, Healing Company still there, Salto Uro, obviously no Uro, so that will probably go away. Death Texas will still be there, Death Shadow still there, and then you've got your control deck. So that's the main meta, and also I think some of the fringe decks like that play the Simian Spirit Guides, like the Crystal Brands and stuff like that, Neo Brands, they're pretty much dead as well. So a bit of a shake up there. I mean, I don't. There's not such a massive change. I keep clicking it. Sorry. There's not such a massive change to the format. But there's enough of a change to see what kind of comes up, especially more control kind of decks can start playing a bit more in this format with the Uro and Filter Dead being banned. We go to Pioneer, and look at Pioneer. We've got Auto Acclamation, that is now gone. On a green place, what was so good? Oops, or spells. Let's see, this was the one that was playing. Yeah, it was playing under City Informer. So this is now gone, unless they can find some other way to mill their decks, which they probably could, but we'll see what happens. And then you got your full color Omnath that was playing Uro. I think that will also take a bit of a hit there. Otherwise, there's not much else. I think obviously the Teferi gets rid of some of the, dex ability or strength, I guess, to kind of pin them down a little bit, especially like those Fires decks and Control decks. They're going to be obviously much weaker with Teferi out of format. I hope that Teferi gets banned from Modern. I still think, yeah, Modern has a few more answers here and there, but I still think once, the whole point, especially in like control matchups and all that kind of stuff, it's the first person to put that Teferi down is usually going to win, and it's all about getting that Teferi down. So I think taking Teferi out of Modern would also be a good change in the future. I'm still going to advocate for that. So I think definitely a lot of changes for pretty much every format. Interested to see what happens over the next month, and also to see if there's anything else that can come out or come up that starts to take over the metagame. I don't think so. I think I felt Modern and Pioneer were pretty diverse already. Yeah, there was, I guess, the Uro always being played. I guess the Fairies also something that gets played a lot in Pioneer and the Filter Dead and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't to the point where, there was a deck that was absolutely dominating. Yes, Tibok's Trickery / Ipso Spells was kind of leaning towards there, and that's why these cards got banned. But I believe Uro would have been okay in Modern. I probably would have been okay with it. Pioneer, maybe taking out a Pioneer, but Modern, I felt like there was enough answers for it. But, there is explanations. If you go to this article, I'll put the link in the description as well. You can have a read as to what was taken out and why it was taken out. So this is a quick podcast today, just to announce all that kind of stuff. A few things happening on the channel. I'll just give a quick update. So we have got some collecting masters coming out for Caldine. Did a whole case of that, so did that just the last few days. So once that's edited, I will be putting that out on the channel over the next couple of weeks, and also I'm going to try and get some gameplay of Modern next. And I got some feedback from the last Pioneer one that I did, so we'll be trying to I guess bring that gameplay to you. It takes a while to do some editing, so it'll probably take at least a month, I would say, to get that all done and dusted. Need to record it as well, so hopefully I'll bring that to you in the next month or so. And then we've got a few things lined up. Obviously, Tie Sparrow Remastered will coming out, and we'll be doing some openings of that when it does come out in March, and also doing, I guess, another podcast to kind of go through the cards that will be coming out for that set. Just as usual, guys, like, share, subscribe. Everything on a stack has resolved, and good games, everyone.